Welcome back to another MOTOBOB video, where today we're going to be looking at this brand new track weapon that Ducati just unveiled, the 2022 Panigale V4 SP2. They're calling it the ultimate racetrack machine, and it's got the price tag to match as well, starting at £34,000 and 249 quid, which makes it the second most expensive Ducati listed on their website at the moment, only beaten by the super exotic and super expensive and super light Panigale Superleggera. But is it worth it? Well, in this video we'll go through all of the details and find out with 11 things that you need to know about it. For a start, this bike is based upon the Panigale V4 platform, and so a lot of the specs and equipment will be familiar. So of course you get their 1103cc Desmo Sedici Stradale V4 engine, which makes 215.5 horsepower at 13,000 RPM and 123.6 Newton meters of peak torque at 9,500. It gets all of the same design features as any other Panigale, like the counter-rotating crankshaft to improve the bike's agility, and the twin pulse firing order that gives it some of the feel of a twin, and optimal traction at the rear wheel. It also inherits all of the updates made to the Panigale V4 lineup for 2022, so that includes new power modes, revised gearing, and dedicated torque curves for each individual gear. Now, the engine actually accounts for the majority of the structure of the bike, with a front frame, subframe, and the swing arm all directly bolted to it, helping to both increase rigidity and minimize weight. Suspension comes in the form of the Öhlins electronically adjustable fork and shock that you'll also find on the Panigale V4S, and it's powered by their smart EC2 system, so you can either make manual adjustments to the damping settings through the switchgear and dash, or you can ride it in the dynamic mode, which responds to your riding style and the riding conditions. And of course, on a super premium sports bike like this, you get a comprehensive electronics package, which includes riding modes, power modes, cornering ABS and traction control, wheelie control, slide control, engine brake control, launch control, a quick shifter, LED lighting, self-cancelling indicators, and a TFT dash with connectivity features. And like the V4S for 2022, it gets the new Track Evo layout for the TFT dash, which they say makes it easier to read when you're in a full-on tuck, and it also gives you clear and colourful prompts when a given rider aid is intervening. This can be used as real-time feedback to improve your riding and therefore your lap times. But the whole point of the SP2 is to deliver a super track-focused Panigale, and as such it gets a bunch of pretty trick upgrades. Starting with some 5-spoke carbon wheels, and they say they're 1.4 kilograms lighter than the forged aluminium wheels on the Panigale V4S. Now, rotating mass and unsprung mass both significantly affect the handling of a bike, so this should be a noticeable upgrade, with a 26% reduction in inertia at the front and a 46% reduction at the rear. Ducati say that the benefit to the rider is an increase in agility and also improved lightness in changes of direction, which I think is basically saying the same thing twice. Braking also gets a boost with Brembo's Stylema R calipers, which are pretty rare, properly high-spec stuff, and they say derived from the world of racing. The benefit over the standard Stylema calipers of these R models is that they have racing-derived pistons with radial ventilation holes that help to keep the brake fluid cool, as well as an air outlet in the central bridge to aid cooling of the pads. This should lead to a more consistent performance during heavy use, such as an extended track session. You also get a Brembo MCS radial master cylinder, and there's a remote adjuster for the front brake lever by the left-hand grip, which allows the rider to make quick changes on the fly. They've also milled the ends of the brake and clutch levers on this bike specifically in order to improve aerodynamics. No figures quoted in the press release for drag reduction or lap time savings there, but it's the details that count, isn't it? The SP2 also gets an upgrade to the clutch with an STM Evo SBK dry clutch, and they say that this clutch guarantees a more effective anti-hopping function in extreme use of the bike on the track. It also offers greater fluidity in all phases of off-throttle compared to the oil bath clutch of the Panigale V4S. The STM Evo SPK clutch also offers the possibility to customize the mechanical engine brake level by choosing a different secondary spring available in the Ducati Performance Accessories catalog. Now you also get a 520 chain, so narrower than the 525 on the standard Panigale, and again this gives you less rotating and unsprung weight, which can actually lead to some mild performance gains. And I guess the point of a bike like this, especially at this price, is to leave no stone unturned in terms of performance. You also get some fancy looking Rizoma foot pegs made from anodized aluminium and with some also fancy looking carbon heel guards. They're fully adjustable to dial in your riding position, and they also maximize ground clearance to give you the greatest possible lean angle on the track. On top of that, they use a super grippy surface to help with aggressive track riding, and Ducati say that they contribute further to the completely redesigned ergonomics in 2022 with the new tank and saddle shapes for the whole Panigale V4 lineup. Now, no track bias special edition would be complete without a bit of extra carbon, and so thankfully the SP2 gets a carbon front mudguard and some carbon winglets too. A nice bit of detail here is the Italian flag along the edge of the winglet there. Now you've also got the option of a mirror delete and a license plate delete for that proper aggressive race bike look. And there's also an Akropovich full titanium exhaust system available, which sits high under the seat. Now the performance advantages are actually pretty good for this one. It's not just a knockoff eBay slip-on. So 5 kilograms saved to bring the total dry weight of this bike down to a pretty impressive 168 kilograms, 12.5 horsepower gained for a peak power of 228, 7.4 newton meters more peak torque, so that's 131 newton meters peak, and it also looks the absolute nuts. But yeah, there is a downside. It will cost you about $5,000. The SP2 gets their GPS and data modules fitted as standard, so that gives you automatic lap timing, specific traction control profiles for slicks and rain tires, 5 fully customizable riding modes, and full data logs so that you can analyze your performance in every little detail. And it's all wrapped up in a very special looking finish with their winter test paint scheme of matte black and some red accents. There are also the new SP2 logos, and you get the brushed aluminium finish on the tank and a special embroidered SP2 logo on the seat. Now another nice little detail is that you do get the bike's logo and the build number etched into the top triple clamp there, and very nice it looks too, although I don't think they've limited it to a specific number of bikes, so don't let this trick you into thinking it's a limited run. But still, that's a lot of extra kit, you know, carbon wheels, top spec racing brakes, a clutch, chain and foot peg upgrade, carbon bits, some extra track options, the GPS and data modules, and the exclusive winter testing finish, but it is about 7.5 grand more than the regular Panigale V4S. Worth it? Well, let me know what you think down in the comments below. And if you're new here and you want to see more videos like this, hit subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.